one of the thoughts I had when I was looking at classes in Helsingborg, Strisessa asked the question, where does money fit in your life? About the right riches of you. And I was like looking at it, I'm like, I couldn't even answer that. I was like, that's an amazing energy, where I was like, it got me almost a little bit confused about the question. So I wanted to explore both perspective of, okay, is this something for Scandinavia that is typical, or is this a general thing that we have? When we look at money, we just always desire more, but what does money mean, and what does it mean? Does money fit in your life?
But it's funny because I was asking the question to myself. So the first thing that came up to me was, like, that's a strange question. And it still brings up a lot of energy and follow-up questions, because my first reaction was, no, money doesn't fit into my life because there's too much. There's not that much room. But the key thing for me that I ended up with, and I actually became aware of, the only way you can have money not fit into your life is if you're getting stuck in the how the money can fit into your life. Because if there's no how, money doesn't require anything of you. They're just willing to come and play. So for me, the first thing that comes up is actually, where have I excluded money from myself because I have not found the way of how it fits into my life?
You can't define it. Like Lisa said, that it actually creates a space where you don't even know what that really means. And it's a fantastic question, because no one can actually define or try to get the definition of what that really means. And for me, it's very much like, if you are already money, if you are able to be money, it doesn't actually fit in your life because you are already being it. When you are vibrational compatible with money, then it doesn't fit, it doesn't benefit, it doesn't do any win and lose in your life. You just be the money. So I think it's a really tricky question to get people to look at how they define money and how they actually define their life. When you ask someone, where does money fit into your life?
The mental image that comes up for me is someone trying to shoehorn money into their lifestyle. And making a little spot in there so they can just fit a couple of dollar bills in, and that's where it fits.
Exactly.
If you have a sense of abundance or prosperity consciousness, there is no fitting it, it just is. But if you've got a scarcity mindset and you buy into the lies of scarcity, then you try and make it fit, but it won't fit. Therefore, you're constantly worried about the scarcity of it not fitting because you can't make it fit. And it was just really interesting us having a look at what these three lies of scarcity were and how that actually has a real impact on how you're willing to either have money or try and shoehorn it into your life.
Can I ask a question? Does this where doesn't it fit? Does it have anything to do with for what you may not be willing to receive money?
In reality, that if you function truly from infinite being, infinite possibility and prospective consciousness, there should be no separation between you and money. So if there's no separation between you and money, is there any fit or is there not fit? Because you are it.
And also, if we have decided that we need to fit or not fit in, then money is one of the things in this reality we can use to prove that we are fitting in or we're not fitting in. And suddenly you have all the definitions of what you have decided it means to fit in and not to fit in that comes into play. If you have decided you're a loser, if you have decided you're a winner, if you have decided anything, then you need to create money in an energy that is congruent to that. And if you are willing to go beyond that piece of how money fits into your life or how it doesn't, then none of that is relevant in any way.
That's so interesting, because when we talk about fitting in, we're not really talking about us and our perspective, are we? There's always a second party involved, whether that party be a country or a culture or a sex, right? Or something. So how much does, where does money or how does money fit into your life have to do with you? And how much does it have to do with you adapting and fitting into someone or something else, right? So it's, where doesn't it fit? You know what I mean? That's what came to me immediately when I heard the question. So where am I not allowing it to fit? Is there a place I'm not allowing it to fit? So thank you for that question.
When, as you guys know, I was confused when I got the question first time, and I went afterwards and looked at it, and one of the things that showed up was the opposite. I was looking at where does it not fit in, and what I was seeing is different areas where I was not willing to have money, where I wasn't willing to create that it's obvious that it could show up, I could create it, I could have it, and basically excluding it. And I was like, okay, there I definitely have not made it to be there, and I've created somewhere it absolutely doesn't fit in. And I saw there were judgments. I saw there were points of views of some kind of lack or possibilities, and absolutely the how kicked in. And I was like, okay, those things are things I can change when I get aware that they are there. So it was really fun to jump around from where does it fit in, where does it not fit in, and it got very easily a more defined of not fitting in than where does it fit in. And that was more undefined for me, but it's been really interesting to explore, just to be with that question, to see where I have stuck myself with some kind of definitions or lack or ways to do it, and the Scandinavian ways to do things. It's very interesting. Even yesterday evening, I asked somebody, I was looking at prices and things about classes, and I asked her, am I being Swedish now? Because it felt so weird. I was trying to get everybody on board, and she's like, I think so. And I'm like, wow, this is weird. So it was the first time I really felt that I was Swedish. I'm like, I'm trying to get everybody happy here, and everybody has to fit in with the right price. I'm like, whoa. So that was a really, very interesting exploration for me.
That if we function with having to fit into any reality, having to fit with anyone or anything or any culture or any family or any group, then there's a lot of projection, expectation, and judgment around money.
And an interesting question for me is, where and what would I choose if my choice didn't have to fit in with the reality I have decided to have around money? Because suddenly you're free to choose something different that allows a creation and a possibility beyond what you're having and being and doing so far.